Well, he's really my favourite painter. I first came across his work when I was in my teens, and I just kind of fell in love with it, and I've really been very much obsessed ever since. I own a couple of his drawings, and I've been trying to make this documentary for a long time. Obviously, he died in '57, so I was thinking, there's a lot of people around who won't be around forever, so I better get on with it. And happily, BBC Four stepped into the breach, and I managed to make it. He was an extraordinary man. He was an amazing illustrator, best known for doing the Elizabeth David cookbooks in the 50s, and but also a fantastic portraitist and landscape painter. And I think maybe because of his early death, he's just been a bit neglected, and I just wanted to sort of make a platform to reappraise him and celebrate him again. He's an extraordinary figure, and it's a sad but very beguiling story, I think.
So his paintings, they're beautiful, aren't they? They're sort of they're verging on abstract as well. Many of them are abstract, but they have that sort of post-war. They have optimism about them. They have a bleak optimism that increased.
Yes,
as that.
Absolutely right. I mean, it's one of my favourite periods, sort of post-war Britain. And it's not much examined, and all the famous artists of that time, like Bacon and Freud, who were his contemporaries, have sort of led the pack for years. But there were so many interesting people around that time. You put it exactly right. There's a sort of, they come out of the war, all of them, in a sort of shattered state. But then their paintings are full of amazingly rich colours. And he famously went to Corsica to do a book with a poet called Alan Ross, and it was an anti-austerity book, and they wanted people to look at that book on the shelves and feel, it's sort of aspirational, and it's just bursting with colour. And some of those pictures are some of my favourites of Minton's, the sort of optimism of life and colour and a new life, I think.
So BBC Four tonight, 9 p.m.
9 p.m, yeah.
Okay, a story about John Minton, and the title of it is Mark Gatiss on John Minton. Now, just 30 seconds before you go, Christopher Robin in the cinemas on Friday.
Yeah.
What can you? I mean, obviously we know the gist. Give us a bit more flavour before you go.
Well, it's a fictionalised version of what happened to Christopher Robin after he sort of stops being a child. It's a lovely story about growing up and losing touch with your childhood, and how important it is to reconnect with everything that made you happy when you were a kid. So I sort of play the baddie, although I'm a kind of klutzy baddie. I'm a Disney villain, and that means I get an action figure, I think,
all right,
somewhere down the line.